I'm Dr. Cogen Bohanec, one of the faculty members here at Arihanta Institute. And a lot of people always want to ask me how I got into the field of Jain studies. Well, during my adolescence and youth, I lived through a lot of violence. And by the time I was 20, I'd really started to seek an end to violence in my own life and my own psyche and in society at large. And so naturally, I started turning to the writings of Mahatma Gandhi, and I read everything that I could find that was written about him. As an undergraduate in college, I began to write my papers on Gandhian philosophy. I studied nonviolent social movements in the 20th century and how Gandhian philosophy had fed into that. And I began what became a lifelong love of Asian philosophies, starting with Hinduism, but also moving into Buddhism and the Jain tradition as well. So after I graduated with my undergraduate degree in history, focusing on Asian studies, I started to pursue a master's degree in history, which specialized on Burma and contrasting the Burmese independence movement, which was rather violent, with the nonviolent independence movement of Mahatma Gandhi in India. However, the program I was in couldn't support my Asian-centric research, so I pulled out of that program and instead went to UC Berkeley, where I began a 5-year-long study of Sanskrit language, but also Hindu philosophy and various different aspects of Asian studies. During part of that 5-year period, I also enrolled in a master's degree program in Buddhist studies at the Institute of Buddhist Studies, where I primarily specialized in translation of Sanskrit and Pali Buddhist texts. I had learned the Pali language as part of my program, and I wrote a comparison on Hindu Upanishadic literature on selfhood versus the no-self concept in the Pali literature. After I graduated with my master's degree, then I moved into Hindu studies and got my PhD in Hindu studies at the Graduate Theological Union in Berkeley, where my main areas of research were eco-theology, ecofeminism, animal advocacy, and that eventually culminated into a PhD on Gaudiya Vaishnava systematic theology and ethics, where I really focused on a meta-ethic from the Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition. All of this, during this time, I engaged in a lot of animal advocacy work, in the animal rights and vegan movement. I engaged in some degree of environmental activism, and I remained socially aware. As of today, I've been vegan now for 27 years. So as part of my own practice of nonviolence, I avoid all animal products. And also I've had a probably about 25-year-long daily meditation practice where I try to actually get direct insights into what the Dharma traditions, Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism, teach through my own daily meditation, my own daily yoga practice, and my own performances of austerities. So that's some of my background and how I came to this. I currently specialize in philosophy of religions, Sanskrit literature, Indian languages, and particularly Jain studies and Hindu studies, but also with some expertise in Buddhism as well. So that's kind of something about my research and my interests and a little bit of my background of how I got into all of this.